With our character now properly configured and placed in the scene, let's take a look at the UI provided to us as part of the sample. We can immediately get started with this by going to the top navigation bar here and selecting this play option. But we're going to actually go to the right drop-down list here and select the new editor window or pie option, because we want this to play in a pop-out window. So I'll click that. And this will bring up our scene with the ACE configuration UI here on the left side. If I click and drag in this window here, I can move the camera around. I can also use WASD to navigate in this scene to get closer to my character if I want to do that. And if you look on the left side here, in this target actor drop down, you'll see that Bernice, being the only character I have in the scene, is automatically populating this list. If you have other characters, you'll be able to select them from this drop down list here. By default, the audio source is set to example as an option, and it wants to have you select your example audio file here. This looks blank to us, and I'll show you how we're going to configure this. But essentially, we need to attach some audio components to our actual blueprint actor in order to make sure they can be played from this list here. But the first thing we're going to actually take a look at is this disconnected status next to audio to face. So by default, a user would need to go to the settings section and put in their NV API key. And you should already have that handy by following the previous videos in the series. Mine's is part of my clipboard, so I'm just going to Control V that in there. And you'll immediately notice this goes green here to say that the connection status is connected. So at this point, I'm actually going to exit out of this window and add some of those audio samples I was talking about. So if you navigate in your content browser to the audio folder and go within the audio clips folder, if you look at short clips and go within that, there's some default audio samples for both female and male voices. I'm going to add these to the Bernice blueprint as audio components by just click and selecting them. And then in my outliner, I'm going to click this Edit Bernice blueprint button here. And with these assets selected, while I'm on the root, I can just click Add Components, and then under Common, there's an Audio Multiple Assets option that should appear. I'm going to click that. And you'll notice that it added them all here. It looks like some got placed a little bit further down, as this list is kind of dynamically created. I'm just going to Control and click the rest of them as I want to change some settings on them. So with them all selected, if I look here in my details panel, the only thing I need to do is to disable auto activate. This makes sure that these components don't fire on their own, start playing as soon as I press begin play. So I'm going to compile and save, and then close out this window. At this point, I'm going to go back to play in a new window. And yeah, as we can see here, I already see that list of test audio samples here. So I'm just going to get a little bit closer and start playing. So let's select Angry to start with and press play.
This is absolutely unacceptable, and I'm not going to let it slide.
Okay, so Bernice is very angry. We can also, as I mentioned before, use a local file, and we can record. If you select the record option here, you can click and hold to record an audio sample directly into your from your mic, and you can click play to play that back on the actor. We would recommend that your voice capture be extremely performative or dramatic in order to make sure that the emotions are detected. I won't do this for now, as my voice is probably a bad match for Bernice. I'm going to go back to example and pick neutral. So if we navigate further down, we have two more sections. You can go to emotional controls, and within here you can tune some of the playback settings for that audio sample or just any audio clip on your character. So these you can think of as facial blend shape coefficients to the face mesh for your character. So if I want very little emotional strength, I would slide that down, and this is going to give me a much weaker performance.
The weather today is partly cloudy with a chance of showers in the afternoon.
And I can make emotional strength go up. Well, actually, I'll do that with both happy to make that more noticeable for you. So
I
I'll click
believe
play
in
here.
spreading positivity and uplifting others because it brings me immense happiness.
And then I'll slide that to the max so you can see.
I believe in spreading positivity and uplifting others because it brings me immense happiness.
Yeah, so you can see the difference there. This is more of an art than a science, so you may need to refine this based on what your character looks like, as well as what the audio clip is that they're playing. So just kind of go through these on your own time. Make sure to use overrides only when necessary. As you can see where I have a happy clip here, but if I were to override and tell it to look very angry and then slide it to the max,
I believe in spreading positivity
I'll have
and
a very
uplifting others
angry,
because
happy
it brings me
sounding
immense
character.
happiness.
Sorry, again, I'll say you'll have a very angry face with a mismatch to the happy character. So try to avoid that. And then just very quickly, you can use tune parameters to adjust some of the more sensitive settings. So for instance, skin settings, I'll go back here and set this back to default. And then I'll go do something like angry again and go back to tune settings. So without adjusting any of these, I'll just play it back for you.
This is absolutely unacceptable, and I'm not going to let it slide.
Yep, so that's default. And let's just toggle on skin strength and slide that up to the max so you can see what this does here.
This is absolutely unacceptable, and I'm not going to let it slide.
As you can see, this is essentially a global multiplier affecting the facial geo. This can lead to some less than desirable results if you're using it improperly. So we recommend not adjusting these settings if you can. And with that, the last thing I'll talk about is that you can press the H key at any time to toggle away the UI to get a nice clean preview. And I'll close out of this window. And just be aware that if you want to adjust any of those UI options, you can come over to filters here, and then under user interface, there is a widget blueprint. And you can see here, these are all the assets. If I hover over them, you can see the asset directory that we're using here. So you needed to customize that or learn from our example. You can navigate, open at any of these assets and kind of understand how we did it from both a blueprint widgets standpoint, as well as the graph blueprint logic if you want to emulate that in your own applications. I'll clear out this filter. So with that, I hope this overview has been helpful for you, and we look forward to seeing you use the ACE workflow as part of your games.